Happy holidays, Marvel fans. Enough said. Agent Phil Parrish here with some Marvel Comics releases for the week of December 24th, 2014. Santa brought us some Axis goodies and spoilers galore in his bag, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, go back to bed. Ready? Marvel fans assemble! Avengers X-Men Axis 9 is the final chapter of the Axis miniseries. The story opens with a flashback of Wolverine and Sabretooth, which shows Wolverine telling Sabretooth there is a better way than violence. Foreshadowing, anyone? Then we jump to the present in Avengers Tower, where Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson are fighting over the inverted Red Skull, who now looks and calls himself the White Skull. Sam and the other inverted heroes don't want the Skull to reverse the inversion and turn them good again. We see Steve and the Skull escape to do something you'd never think they'd do: work together. Sam makes it back to the other inverted heroes and tells them what happened. The inverted Tony Stark says he has to finish the job himself. Then we see Sabretooth and Mystique say that they have to help everyone revert to normal, even if it means going back to their own evil ways. Then we see Rogue attack them, only to be saved by Spider-Man. The next confrontation we see is the former lovers Janet Van Dyne, known as the Wasp, and the inverted Alex Summers, who is the X-Man Havoc. Then we see the inverted Deadpool convincing Apocalypse that he has to save the day, because the good boy Evan that he was before the inversion would want him to. The next battle is between the inverted Thor and Loki, where Loki's death seems imminent before the good Loki turns the tide by picking up Thor's hammer Mjolnir. Back on Earth, Steve and the White Skull arrive back at Avengers Mansion only to be attacked by the inverted Avengers. The sudden arrival of Apocalypse and Spider-Man seem to be the distraction that Steve and the Skull need to escape, until they are attacked by the superior Iron Man. The battle is lost until the cavalry arrives in the form of Doctor Doom, Magneto, Quicksilver, Brother Voodoo, and the Brother Voodoo-controlled Scarlet Witch. They are able to reverse the inversion on most of the affected, except for 3 people: Havoc, Sabretooth, who we can only guess is going to take the place of the now-deceased Wolverine in the Marvel Universe, and the superior Iron Man. Speaking of the superior Iron Man 3 picks up where last issue left off in San Francisco, with the still inverted Tony Stark restoring Daredevil Matt Murdock's sight with the Extremis app. Tony basically tells Matt that he can keep his sight for free as long as he stays out of Tony Stark's way. Then in New York, we once again see Pepper Potts conferring with the someone or something in one of the old red and gold armors of Tony Stark's, trying to decide what they need to do with Tony. The mystery figure in the armor says he, she, or it needs more time because the world has changed so much, and that their contingency was prepared for a different age. Next, we see the superior Iron Man confront the new villain, Teen Abomination, that he fought in issue 1. Tony discovers that the villain is only 13 years old, and he is angry that the Extremis app could not cure his condition. Tony tells the boy to clean up the mess he made at Stark's home and that he can use him. The issue ends with Matt Murdock deciding not to take Tony Stark's deal and making it to his best friend Foggy Nelson's apartment so that Foggy is the last thing Matt sees. If you want to read more Daredevil Matt Murdock, pick up Daredevil 11, also on sale now. Matt is writing a book about his life as Daredevil, now that his identity is public knowledge, so that he can use the millions of dollars that the book will bring to pay for his friend Foggy's cancer treatments. Matt is then approached by George Smith, who years before had started as a villain and then became a star known as the Stunt Master. George says that there is a new man calling himself Stunt Master, making a living off his name and rep. Matt doesn't want to take the case or intervene until George seemingly commits suicide from his depression. Matt confronts the new Stunt Master, who seems to die in every stunt only to resurrect himself later. The issue ends with Matt's hypersenses discovering the Stunt Master's secret, that he kills other people in his stunts and then takes credit as he discovers George Smith alive, strapped to the Stunt Master's motorcycle against his will. Deadpool 39 is an Axis tie-in. The issue begins with the reversal of the inversion spell that we saw at the end of Axis 9. Apocalypse, now reverted back to the boy Evan, reunites Deadpool's severed head with his body. That's some healing factor. Then we see Deadpool and Evan journey to the underground kingdom ruled by Deadpool's wife to deliver the North Korean artificially created X-Men clones to safety. Deadpool then takes Evan to his safe house, where he will spend the night, and then reflects on the peace he felt when he was inverted. The issue ends on a sad note as Deadpool realizes that he has never experienced real happiness. Nova number 25 is an oversized Axis tie-in. Following the events of Axis, a still concussed Sam Alexander is invited to join the Avengers. We see Sam interact with the Avengers, receive his Avengers communicator card, and even with a broken helmet that makes his powers cut in and out, help the Avengers save a crashing 747. The issue ends with a familiar figure arriving in Sam's hometown to visit him, Cletus Cassidy, the symbiote-powered serial killer known as Carnage. New Avengers 28 continues the story that is taking place months in the future. We see the battle between Steve Rogers' S.H.I.E.L.D. team and two separate Avengers teams, including a battle between our Hulk and an emotionally neutered Hulk from another universe that is under Steve Rogers' control. The issue ends with Reed Richards' Illuminati bringing in their reinforcements. Steve not only discovers that Reed's wife Sue, the Invisible Woman, has been a spy in his midst the whole time, should have seen that one coming, but she's brought in the big guns, Namor the Submariner, and Black Bolt and Medusa, the rulers of the Inhumans. Well, I'm sure you know what's next. The cover says, in 5 months, time runs out. Uncanny X-Men 29 continues the story of the last will and testament of Charles Xavier. We first see Magic travel back in time to seek the aid of her teacher, Dr. Stephen Strange, for help with the new destructive, out-of-control mutant, Matthew Malloy. We then go back to the present to see the argument between Cyclops and Magneto about what is best for this Matthew and the world in general. Magic arrives with Dr. Strange's Eye of Agamotto that will show Matthew his path that he should take. Before they can take any action, Cyclops, Matthew, Magneto, and Magic, the top of the mountain they were standing on, is obliterated by a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. But don't worry, the issue ends with the time-traveling Eva Bell going back in time to see Charles Xavier years before his death, hopefully to get him to take better steps when it comes to Matthew Malloy. And speaking of Eva Bell, finally in all-new X-Men Annual 1, we see the continuation of the Eva time travel story that began in the Uncanny X-Men Annual 2 weeks ago. Eva finds herself in prehistoric times confronted by the evil sorceress, Morgana Le Fay. Eva manages to escape back into the time stream without taking Morgana with her. Eva then attempts to time travel to the year 2099 to be with the husband and child she has there. But she soon discovers that since she is not originally from that time, that once she left, the timeline changed. She is told by the Sorcerer Supreme of this new timeline, 2099, Dr. Anthony Stark, that her family is lost to her forever. Dr. Stark tells her that she must go back to her original time, which she does. The issue ends with the scene we saw a few months ago in Uncanny X-Men where Eva seems to disappear and reappear moments later, but years older. Well, that's it, not only for this week, but this year. There's only a handful of books that are releasing on December 31st. The only Marvel book I know of is the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. book. I'm not picking it up, but please email me at nightwingpdp@gmail.com and let me know what you think about it. Is it worth picking up? Alright, well, happy holidays and happy new year. I'll talk to you again in 2015. So for the last time in 2014, 'nuff said.